I'm tired of downloading, so I'm just going to add audio. I'm going to use screenshots. The Convo Couch is in Los Angeles. They're posing as activists in order to film the real people who are activists. When they put on protests, no one shows up because it isn't legit. It's called an agitprop. I noticed Glory coughing. I noticed Craig Jardula doing a lot of coughing and sneezing type activity. I noticed Fiorella Isabel wearing a mask. So she has gone from not wearing a mask and flaunting that type of activity without the mask into wearing the mask. I'm not assuming Jardula and Glory have COVID, but they might. Jardula should be more careful. He does not have the body and health to risk that type of thing. I'm not attacking him because I feel a little vulnerable too to the pandemic. I'm sort of healthy. I am healthy, but one never knows. I can have some breathing issues at times. I did have a heart attack a few years back. I quit cigarettes immediately, but I'm getting off of the point. So yes, I wanted to mention that the Convo Couch is at that Echo Park. They hopped on to what was going on there, something about police and a homeless tent society community growing in the park. I'm not downloading because it's over 4 hours. These people are military shills. I figured it out. Things come naturally to those of us with open eyes. I knew I was going to say that, the open eyes part. The thought led to no other choice. I like to go with the flow of my own thinking in order to share the thought process of one Aspie. If you know one Aspie, you know one Aspie. I'm not saying I'm the be-all and end-all of Aspies, but I do have a craving to share insights into Asperger's. I noticed some audio right now from the dive show from last night. I'm not going to download that. I'm not downloading anything, but I do want to add some audio. And then I want to X out of that video because I could just parse it every minute, every idea I can peck at and expose and pull out its implicate order based on sociology, philosophy, history, humanity, individualism of myself, my propensity to share. So I have 2 points to make on this audio. They are making it seem that the mass shooting in Colorado was a false flag. I'm going to add that right here. I'll do my best to tidy it up and make it sound good. I don't care if it doesn't sound high definition. I'm just going to try to clean out any impurities that I may be able to through technology, through the Audacity software. I don't just show up. Well, I do just show up. But I do work hard at these videos. I imagine they're pretty good and that I'm vastly underrated. So let's add some audio right here of Shanda and Amber saying ridiculous stuff. And then the second thing is Shanda saying how people are forced into the military. They're targeting people in the military. They're not targeting a left-wing hippie from Generation X like myself. They don't want people like me around, like us. I imagine a lot of the people who like my shtick are Bernie bots types. They bring in that Magnus guy because he was libertarian. He's a boogaloo boy. I think those are anarchists. But unlike myself, they do not seem to have a problem with violence, but I'm not sure. I'm a nonviolent anarchist. So yes, those are the 2 things I want to include with this audio, in which they are going really kooky with conspiracy tinfoil. That is a deliberate move. They're making a pivot. They don't care how stupid they sound. In this clip, they are sounding very much like a Manitalk and an Ebon Kim even, just really far out there. So let's go. I'm going to now add that in.
The shittiest part about this, and I definitely want to acknowledge violence against Asian women and the atrocities that have occurred in Colorado and across the nation are awful, and I am deepest condolences to anybody who has lost somebody or been affected, or if this has brought back additional PTSD memories. That happens a lot. But I'm really starting to question that these are magically random acts.
Yes. Like, I absolutely agree. I mean, what conversation has been really on the back burner for, well, since Vegas, I think, is exactly what we're looking at now. It's funny how these things just materialize when the Democrats need them.
And when they need to change the conversation. Exactly. So, there's a lot of outrage. I personally don't own an AR-15, don't have any plans to, don't have any need to. I do not think guns are the new weapon. I think guns are an excuse for a weapon. And the next war is going to be digital, so you better change your weapons up, kids.
Well, they always say it's white guys, right? It's disturbed young white guys. Well, what the hell are we doing in society that's disturbing these white guys to where this is their last resort? Oh, well, let's see. Not giving them an education, forcing them into the military where they get these grander ideas.
People are going nuts on a Graham Elwood video page thread because I had the gall or gumption to point out that Elwood was a warmonger who toured with the military in Afghanistan and Iraq. I asked Graham, where's your apology video for that? Someone liked my new video on Door and Elwood exposed as military shills. He left a good comment. I gave a good response. He or she asked, we have been all over this as well. Thank you for raising your voice. If you Google Gabbard, Jimmy Dore, The Corruption of Convenience, Medium, there's a powerful expose of Gabbard, which should be among the first results returned. The situation is much deeper than many realize. I thumbed it up and responded, thanks. I found and read the Medium article. It seems Dore and Tulsi are paid by the same people and will never make the other look bad unless it's time for a fake fight. I didn't know they were that close, but one cannot miss such connections after a while. A quick search has me watching Dore plugging Tulsi on Rogan, plugging himself. I think they are part of a Project Vigilant Infraguard styled operation, which also includes many Russia Today Sputnik personalities. The idea of citizen journalists is in play. As they can make any of us feel we are part of an independent media movement. It's a clear pattern already observed in previous internet eras. Andrew Breitbart received mysterious money back in the day. He used to hire COINTELPRO. One can go on and on making connections. They know one will sound like a kook or not get the audience anyway to expose them. There's this woman, Dana Arcuri. She has a channel. She covers narcissists and flying monkeys, something like that. I don't really need that type of knowledge anymore. I'm sure everyone does eventually. I'm sort of gotten over worrying about relationships. Ever since figuring out I have Asperger's, and even before then, I was sort of stopping getting into conflict. Krishnamurti has changed my life. So this Dana Arcuri woman, she allows me to post on her channel. I don't want to overdo it. That's where I've been able to drop some of those philosophy statements or comments. One time she said that she liked Krishnamurti, which spurred me on. I'll just read what I wrote because it was pretty good, I think. I don't like to waste stuff. As I mentioned in the last video, I'll just scroll up and see what she wrote. This is what she wrote, and it spurred me on. I already made that comment about how we probably haven't changed much over tens of thousands of years. She said, well said, Tokyo. I believe that a lot of people, especially the younger generation, are waking up to the toxic programming and abusive structures that have gone on since the beginning of time. They are choosing a higher path and making healthier lifestyle choices. That's what Dana wrote. I think she likes me because I said she looks like Marky Post. Everyone had a crush on Marky Post, so it was probably a compliment. I wrote, thank you for the space. I'll try to not overuse it. Generation X had similar ideas, but the system was too strong, or most of us were too naive. Illusions based off of media and fake social movement seemed dissolved, or at least for anyone paying attention. But that also means we can't use the medium to promote positive social change. We can seemingly only negate fictionalized mass culture. On an individual level, people may now do better mentally going forward, but the Krishnamurti-styled questions do not seem any closer to resolution, as in why do wars and suffering persist? Individually, we can proceed naturally. Sometimes we forget to breathe, but that doesn't last long. The mind remains free up to the tip of one's nose. I picked up that last line from Lewis Mumford, trying to use the Asperger's to my literary advantage. I've been trying that for quite a while. I was trying this even before I realized I have Asperger's. I made a comment 7 months ago in reference to Charles Mingus, jazz, and the movie Taxi Driver. It was a crowd pleaser then, and apparently to this day. Thank you to all out there who have ever provided me with the dopamine hits. They've been much appreciated, as I appreciate you too. Supposed to wrap this up. I have 2 more comments made elsewhere that I could perhaps share right now. This was on a philosophy channel. This guy Wittgenstein was pissing me off, but it was more like the people talking about Wittgenstein were getting on my nerves. And I wrote, narcissism destroyed anything of value from academics, with someone like Wittgenstein getting way too much credit for insignificant batching of words in a particular order. Here's the last one. This is something I've been working on for quite a while. There is a male and female prototype that transcends biology. It explains the variance in diagnosis between male and female. It also explains how someone like myself as a male went undetected, not just because I was from an earlier generation, but also because I fit the female prototype. That one can be referred to as the sociable prototype. I wrote, it's political. To admit there is a female prototype, including males, exposes psychiatry for the alchemy it is. Aspies often have trouble flourishing because society is so fake. I don't regret quitting as a writer for blogging and turning to television, internet television, as a social media pseudo-career, or whatever I'm doing here, as a hobby. My eyesight is hailing. I should be getting glasses soon enough. I'm probably going to find a way to make less videos. I don't want to quit completely, and I do want them to be of a certain quality. So I will definitely not quit, but I will produce less often as soon as my eyesight gets a lot better and I'm able to go outside more with the warmer weather. I can work on stamps. I have a lot of items that I want to work on and just tidy up the collection once and for all. I'm probably going to quit as a stamp collector after that. I may not quit, but it's going to take several months for me to finish up the stamps I'm on, to take care, to preserve the ones that I ended up with a possession of them. They're on loan. Everything is on loan. Our bodies have a shelf life. My plan is to try to be as healthy as possible up until the final breath, and then take it from there. Once one dies, we don't know what's after the death. We have ideas. It's impossible to figure out with 100% certainty what happens. I do believe that we come back. If that brings anyone some comfort, then I'm glad I said it. I think we're like flowers. The flowers come back. I do think we're sort of unique for souls, unless that's just the way we continue to progress with possibly millions of years of memory. I don't know. Who knows? We could have been the dinosaurs. We could have been them. Say there are souls. We don't know how that relates to the universe in its entirety. Like what happens when the sun burns out? That can't be the end. Is there something to us that never ends? There's no way to figure that out. That has to be the conclusion. We're incapable of solving that greatest riddle of them all. I do like the general Krishnamurti questions of why do wars persist? Why does suffering persist. I agree with him that this is idiotic and unnecessary,